We got the NFL kickoff. Obviously, the season starts tonight. We got the Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. They will be in Philly, and that will kick off at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. What is that? 6:20 p.m. my time in Utah, and then 5:20 over there in LA and West Coast time. So, um,
That's a nice little game setup they got over there. 5 p.m.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
mean
get
that's
right
probably the
off
best. You
work
get off
and you get
work
to watch
instantly,
the game.
game
Yeah,
time.
I like that.
Like instantly, you
awesome.
get off work.
See, I always like the whole from our time zone specifically being Central Standard. I always like the ability to the second I leave church in past years throw on Red Zone the second I leave church. Now I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna re up my subscription for Red Zone. I think it's still worth it, but I always like the whole aspect of I go to church, spend time with the one and only the Most High, right? And then I get to go watch football the rest of the day. It's a great day.
Praise
Right.
God, by the way. But yeah, bro, yeah, I think red zone is out the window. It's gone to hell, which is unfortunately. But look, tonight's game, Eagles, Cowboys. All right, let's talk about it because I think this is going to be a lot closer than people think. You got CeeDee Lamb, got George Pickens now. They still don't really have a running back. I don't even know who their running back is. Like Williams or something. Jay Williams,
Jaden
Javante
Javante
Blue,
Williams, I
Williams.
think.
maybe.
Yep.
Devontae Williams.
Yeah, Javante
Former
Williams, Jay Blue. It's
Bronco.
kind of like a tandem.
I don't know if that's going to be enough to get past, the big guys up front on the Eagles D line, but
It's not
Dak
because
Prescott's
Javante was
back.
with the Broncos and he wasn't really.
We're gonna see what the new coach can do for the Cowboys, and I don't know if that's going to be a lot, but I think the Eagles come out with a bang this tonight, and it'll be a lot closer than people think because Dak Prescott's no pushover, bro, when he's healthy. So, and CeeDee Lamb and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, he has George Pickens now, so that's just going to be an issue. On the in the slot, especially if CeeDee's lined up at the slot, it's going to be ugly. But so yeah, I think I got Eagles tonight, but counted as a small score, not a large score margin. I'd say like 24-21.
My question is for you then, because Dallas obviously just lost Micah Parsons on the defensive side. What's going to hold Philly from scoring, I don't know, 31, 35 points in this?
Well, when you have, okay, first of all, they're division rivals. Second of all, they've been practicing all summer to stop each other by watching film on each other that they have from like past. I know they have a new head coach, which is going to be pretty difficult, but I'm pretty sure he's an in-house signing, so he's going to be pretty much doing relatively the same things that they've been doing in the past. So I'd assume that it's going to be pretty close because it's always close the first game of the year. I feel like I don't remember the last blowout we had week one, game one. So I mean last year,
Everybody's gonna have to kick the dust off. So
right?
I think
So
that it's gonna be rough for both teams.
it's gonna be pretty close in my opinion. Maybe they blow the socks off of them. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. That'd be kind of fun to watch, especially with Jerry Jones being in attendance. I assume that'd be kind of funny. But I just feel like as a division rival, you're not gonna be able to blow them out game one of the week one. You know what I mean? So maybe they will. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just assume it'll be close.
Well, considering Philadelphia right now is an 8.5 point favorite according to Vegas, I think this one is probably going to lean much more in favor of being a two-score game with the Eagles taking down Dallas. It's in Philly, never an easy place to play, and especially considering that this Cowboys team might be a little dejected following the exit of Micah Parsons and the exit of other guys as well. This might be a recipe for disaster here for Philadelphia. But look at this. Think of this, though. I think, Naz, you're on to something with Dallas isn't just going to get slaughtered in this one.
Yeah.
Losing Darius Slay, the Eagles' defense is still great, don't get me wrong, but losing Darius Slay definitely does not help this Eagles secondary, per se. They still have Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, very talented corners. Cooper DeJean is currently listed as the nickel back right now. They currently have Adoree Jackson getting the start on the outside over DeJean. The safeties, Reed Blankenship and it's Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown, not a lot of experience, and there's another rookie behind him, and Andrew Makuba. Luis Cine still on the IR. So the Eagles' defense, especially in the secondary, is losing quite a bit of production in the form of Darius Slay no longer being there. So this game, especially with how pass heavy Dallas is going to be, I'm pretty sure they're going to be a little closer in this game than we might think.
Yeah, who are they going to put DeJean on?
That's a great question.
Probably.
That's a great question.
I would assume.
I mean, who's their slot guy?
I would assume they shade over someone. They're gonna put him on top of Pickens, and then they're gonna have safety help the entire time. But that's the thing, you can't, because CeeDee Lamb's on the team, and he's gonna be lined up in the slot or on the other side of the field at the outside wide receiver. So I mean, DeJean's probably gonna have to take a lot of. He's probably gonna have to stick to one side. Maybe I don't know if he's gonna follow CD around, because I'd assume he's their best option. So.
And the Cowboys have good pass catching options out of the backfield still too, with Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, even Miles Sanders. So they're gonna have solid production out of their running backs all game. None of those guys are gonna get tired. They keep flying them in and out. They don't really have a set RB1 yet. And I look at the receivers, little depleted, but their tight ends are fairly deep. Luke Schoonmaker got a lot of work down the stretch of the season last year. He looked good. Jake Ferguson's still a good tight end in the league, and obviously CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. But Jalen Tolbert out of the slot, he had some key plays down the stretch last year while Dallas was still in and alive. So there's gonna be a lot of assignments here for the Eagles, and I just think their secondary might get overpowered at times.
I'm telling you, Dak Prescott healthy is an issue. I think he's gonna be slinging it around all night, trying to make some crazy big plays, because he hasn't made a big play in about a year now, because he got hurt last year. So he's gonna come out, try to ruin their flag banner night, and it's gonna be a good game. I think it'll be a slow first quarter. It'll pick up in the second quarter. It might be the other way around. Might be slow in the second quarter instead. But I think the second half of the game is gonna be very, very interesting to watch. So. Who can hang
Give
in?
me 24-20 Eagles.
I like it.
I think it's going to be close. Like I said, it's going to be – I have a hard time believing that either side's going to blow this thing out of proportion.
I think I'll go 31-21 Philadelphia in this game. I just don't think the Cowboys have the presence on the defensive line to be able to stuff the run. Even with Kenny Clark coming in, who's a decent run stuffer, he was kind of up and down last year in Green Bay a little bit, but I could expect him to have a bounce back year this year because he's on a new team, new setting. But other than that, who's stopping Saquon on that team? That's my question. I think Saquon's going to have a monster game tonight, and Philly's going to take it.
I was going to say, you got to remember that Kenny Clark was playing injured for part of last season. That's part why his production took a drop. Obviously, he was playing through injury. So now that he's fully healthy, yes, it's a new defensive. Okay, stop that. Now that he's fully healthy,
he just doesn't like Dallas, bro.
I don't like Dallas.
Not a lot of people do.
But that's ludicrous.
Hey, trust me. I hope the Eagles beat them $2 million to nothing.
Yeah, I think everyone in their right mind outside of Texas would. But the point here is that Kenny Clark isn't going to make a huge impact. He's still going to make an impact, but it's Saquon Barkley. Let's face it, Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the league for a reason, right? So you're not going to shut the guy down to like 17 carries for 60 yards tonight. He's still going to get 100 plus. So,
Jalen, what do you think?
I mean, I was thinking somewhere in like the high 20s, something like 27, 24-ish. Only reason I say that is because I don't like because Philadelphia's defense isn't the same as last year, obviously. And them losing Micah Parsons, well, Jalen Hurts might throw for 200 yards. He's not known for it, but I feel he might have a good passing day because there's no big pass rush. They're not going to be able to get to the quarterback as quickly. So I feel Jalen Hurts might have around 200, 222 yards. Dak Prescott to have like 270, I think, because really all Dallas does is throw the ball. I mean, they run it every now and then when they have to, but I just don't know what to expect from Dallas from their new head coach because I don't know what his scheme is. Is he an offensive, defensive guy, or?
I assume he's more balanced because he's going to be able to. I think he has to be balanced. I can't imagine he's full pass heavy this year. I know he has all the weapons to do so, but in order for them to win games, they're going to have to incorporate the run game a lot more than what they've been doing in the past. I know they haven't had a really good prominent run game since Zeke, and we saw what happened when he came back. He's just not the same. So they're gonna have to figure out some ways to incorporate that side of the game, because I mean, against teams like Philly and the Commanders, even, like, they're gonna have to run the ball sometimes, and it's gonna have to be good. So I hope they're balanced.
I have a follow-up question. Jalen, could you put that graphic back up with the week 1 schedule?
Yeah.
I guess my question would be, out of all these games, what is the one team or the one matchup that you're paying attention to, even though it's week 1, and saying their season trajectory could change depending on how this game goes for them? Like, if there's a certain team, like if you think the Panthers are, obviously this is a stupid choice, but if the Panthers or the Jaguars could become Super Bowl contenders or could put themselves on a trajectory to be Super Bowl contenders after week 1, you'd say that game. Obviously,
No bias.
because neither of them are going to.
Yeah, well, no bias, but I think it's Lions Packers, dude. I really think it is. A lot of people, like you said at the beginning, a lot of people are riding the Packers to their Super Bowl contender motive, right? Like, and rightfully so. They just brought in one of the, I would say, in the single digits, only players in the NFL that can genuinely change the trajectory of a team in that way, right? So there's a lot of expectations now. Even before that, people were still hyping up Green Bay because they've been the same team. They've had the same nucleus for a few years running now. They're still a really young team. And now, outside of like specialists and at quarterback, I'm pretty sure they don't have any player on the team over 30 years of age. So there's still a lot of expectations. This team's supposed to be full of firepower. And you look at the other side too with Detroit, who has come into Green Bay the last few seasons and won a few games at Lambeau. They lost both of their coordinators. A lot of people, I talked to some people in Milwaukee radio over the past couple days. They're on the side with me. They think that Detroit losing their coordinators is going to be a bigger issue than people are giving it credit. It is a problem, especially considering how terrific of a job both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson did as the offensive and defensive coordinators for that Detroit team. They still have the firepower on the roster. Yes. No, that doesn't mean they're going to improve this year or even be at the same spot as they were last season. If Detroit loses this game, they might be spiraling towards a tough season. I'm not saying no playoffs, but I'm saying a tough season ahead if they fall in this game.
So I think I think what you said is correct, but we have to remember that they hired from inside their organization. So every coach that they hired, both coordinators, know exactly what they did last year because they were a part of that. Now we can't ignore that, because Ben Johnson, he even said that the offensive coordinator that they have now, I mean, he's a great talent. He's a great football mind. He knows exactly how to run this offense. And they incorporate Gibbs and Montgomery the same way. They have J-Mo St. Brown the same way. They might have Tim Patrick as well. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know who exactly the 3 is. They got Sam
Isaac
Laporta
Tesla.
now. They're all healthy.
I've heard good
Aiden
things
Hutchinson's
about
back
Tesla.
on the defensive side. That coordinator. Tesla?
Yes, Isaac Tesla.
Isaac Tesla, yeah.
What you said?
You might be
I thought his
roboting
name
on
was
us here,
Tesla.
Nas. You might be
Yeah.
lagging. It's
I think
either way. Isaac Tesla.
I think that another game that could change the trajectory of both of these team seasons is the Monday night game between Chicago and Minnesota. Two teams with a lot of question marks going into that game where we really don't know what they're going to be this year. There's a lot of potential on both sides here to have a really great season. And starting off with a win against your division rival in that game could change the trajectory of the season for either one of those teams.
I think the Cardinals and the Saints. No, but I think it's that Baltimore and Buffalo game. I feel like the Super Bowl champion is going to come out of that game.
It's definitely very feasible.
I mean, because at some point in time, one of them got to get over that hump. One of them was going to beat Patrick Mahomes and get over that hump. I think it's going to come out of Buffalo or Baltimore this year. I would love to say Denver and I'd love to say Chicago, but, that's not going to happen, sadly. But Yeah, I think it just comes out of Buffalo and Buffalo and Baltimore. I mean, it's Lamar's turn. People say it's Lamar's turn. People say it's Allen's turn. They've been going back and forth for years now, and I love it for it to be Lamar's turn. But um, that Mark Andrews play last year is still holding large for me. I'm like, wow, you dropped it at the goal line, dude. Like in the end zone, right at there, right in your hands. It don't get no bigger than that. And if you can't do that in that moment, yeah, bro, you can just forget about Super Bowl. But I feel like it's either Lamar or Josh Allen's turn. So
I think in terms of a complete roster, I think Baltimore probably has the closest thing to that in the entire NFL this year. Outstanding defense, playmakers all over the offense. The defense has the ability to change a game on its head. It's either them or probably, I still think Philly is one of the most complete rosters too in the NFL, but Baltimore, I think it's their year to lose. And if Lamar doesn't get it done this year, we might have to start having conversations.
Man, this is gonna be a really fun week one, though. Just looking at everything, I mean, a sneaky one could be that Houston LA game. That could be a sneaky fun game.
Another one I also like too. I think
we got to start
Seattle.
holding the same standard to Josh Allen.
I can agree with that.
That's fair.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You're not wrong, but I mean, Lamar has 2 MVPs. And people say that Josh Allen shouldn't have won that one last year. It should have been Lamar. So really, Lamar should have 3 MVPs. So there's a different conversation when you're talking about a guy who wins MVP every season and a guy who pretty much could have beaten Patrick Mahomes twice, or if it wasn't for one doggone play both of those times. I haven't seen Lamar play Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship yet. That's all I'm saying.
I did 2 years ago, didn't he? And they lost on home turf.
Yes, that did happen.
The Chiefs defense locked them up.
Back to that though. Back to that MVP conversation. I mean, you can say what you want about being a PR award for Josh Allen that year,
he
but
deserved it.
At the same time, yeah, it was still deserved. Like it wasn't like he was a bad player last year. But I also don't think anyone's really saying that. But I think people are not understanding is that Josh Allen lost a lot on the offense going into last season. It was basically a test to see, is Josh Allen capable of leading a team to the promised land? And I think last year he proved that, hence why he got it. Anyways, back to the task at hand here. A sneaky game could be Tampa Bay Atlanta. Could be. A lot of people are hyping up Tampa Bay this year. They've had, like the Packers, same nucleus for the past couple of seasons. Baker Mayfield, seemingly, could we call that a breakout last year for Baker? I think we can. I think we can because, like, going into that, he really hadn't played up to his potential as the number 1 overall pick a few seasons ago. And last year he had his best season yet, and he's only getting better is what people are saying. So going into that game against Atlanta, who has a fairly talented defense, and B, a new look offense with Michael Penix now getting his first week 1 start. He was drafted 8th overall. A lot of expectations there. If Atlanta wins that one, Tampa Bay's season trajectory could be in the balance because losing that would mean that possibly a tiebreaker gets lost there going into the end of the season, kind of like last year where Tampa Bay just needed to win, but if they lost in Week 18, they needed a lot of things to go right for them to still get that division, including Atlanta losing that week, which Atlanta going into that last week of the season was still like 8-8. They were still 7-9, 8-8. They're coming off of a solid season that was filled with a lot of turmoil and a lot of question marks. Coming out of that, they look a little bit more solid. They look a little more gelled together. That could be an interesting game to watch.
I think the Bucs have a high floor. Just with the division they're in, I think that they could still, even if they lose this one, I think they could at least have a winning record this season at minimum. Even if the wheels fall off, because I think that they got a lot of depth too, and we saw a lot of that last year just because of all the young players superseding the guys who we were expecting to see, and that was kind of what shocked most people, I guess. Obviously, they had high expectations for Bucky Irving, but I don't think anybody thought Bucky Irving would come on as strong as he did at the end of the year.
Did anyone answer my question of when are we going to start putting Josh Allen on that same pedestal as Lamar Jackson needs to prove something?
We did a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
Well,
we did.
Well,
We all agree with you.
Yeah, we don't disagree.
All I see, I know. I'm just saying, Josh Allen 0-4 against Mahomes. I know he beat Lamar, cool, but I mean, he still has so much to prove. He hasn't gone to the Super Bowl at the same amount. He's this media love. Everyone in the media loves Josh Allen for some goddamn reason. He's not better than Lamar Jackson. He's not ever going to be better than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has proved more in individual stats and everything else individually, but Josh Allen gets a free pass because he plays the Chiefs and he loses to the Chiefs every year. Oh, that's okay, Josh Allen. You beat everyone else, but you can't beat the big guys. So it's okay. We love you.
Yeah, on the other side of that same coin, the
defense.
He also plays the Chiefs so good and not even just him. The Buffalo Bills play the Chiefs so close in those games.
He didn't even play them good last time.
But look at the 4 matchups before that. I mean, we can't just get fatigued because of one.
One time, 2 times, maybe in the regular season.
Can I ask this question though? When are we going to stop comparing quarterback versus quarterback matchups like they're boxers or like they're MMA fighters? There's still 21 other guys, and I mean, if you include the special teams, there's still 32 other guys on the field that have to do their assignments and make.
You do it. You do it in MVP race. You do it in MVP race every year. That's what you have to do.
But you got to look in the context, though. The context says it's not always the quarterback's fault. More often than not, it's actually not just the quarterback's fault.
No, he didn't.
So in hindsight here, why do we still try and use that as a comparison to see which quarterback is better when more often than not, it's not because one outperforms the other that wins them the football game. It's because there's 32 other gentlemen on the field that actually get their jobs done too compared to the others.
Because those are the leaders of the team. Those are the best players on your team. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are undoubtedly the best players on their team. They are literally they're the juggernaut guys that lead their team everywhere. They're the quarterbacks of the team. They are the head of the team. If you are an MVP caliber player, it doesn't matter what position you are, you're going to be looked at as a game changer. Who's better? Who's the better game changer? And I think Lamar Jackson has been better his entire career. Now, Josh Allen was great for like a few games last year. He's better a few games last year, especially against the Rams where he had 6 touchdowns. But we can't ignore what Lamar Jackson did for 4 weeks after that. So, and then going into the playoffs, I know they had a little struggle against the Bills, but I mean, I just don't see where the Josh Allen love gets. He gets so much love, but Lamar Jackson gets so much hate for doing the same exact thing Josh Allen is doing and losing in the playoffs. I mean, it's the same thing. No one can beat Mahomes. Mahomes is the top guy. I think that's fair to say, even if he's had a bad year.
It's a different conversation where you're saying Josh Allen didn't deserve that award when he not over
Lamar Jackson, though he didn't.
It was a 1A, 1B case last year.
Who was first team All-Pro? Who's first team All-Pro? Lamar Jackson, the best quarterback in the league.
If no one can beat Mahomes, though, why doesn't Mahomes win MVP every single year?
Well, like you said, his whole thing is the team. His whole thing is the team.
Won the Super Bowl.
Without Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, like those teams are just not the same. Like Patrick Mahomes, his whole team is just a system. If you watch the way they play, they literally have they 5-yard plays. Gotcha. It's easy. I'm not saying Mahomes is bad, so I don't know why you're shaking your head like that. But
I'm just saying he could have won MVP last year too.
No, he could not have.
No, it would have been Joe Burrow.
No, he could not have.
Joe Burrow.
So why
did you just say?
Because he didn't make playoffs.
Because his team went 9-8 last year.
Did you see his defense last year? But he would have won it last year if he made playoffs. He didn't make playoffs.
Is it the MVP award the most valuable player?
It's in the regular season.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Unfortunately, though, team record does play a factor there.
Yeah, team record plays a factor if you're the head of the team.
And both
it's not just
Allen and Jackson had incredible teams last year. Joe Burrow might have had better stats than they did. They went 9-8 at the end of the day.
They didn't make it over the Broncos last year. You think he deserves MVP? No. Unfortunately, he doesn't. So I think Patrick Mahomes, he's a great quarterback still. I think his crazy throws are a little bit past him right now. He's a little older now, but he can still do it. But no, he should not have won MVP last year. I don't think that even makes sense for him to win it because at some points he wasn't even the best player on his team last year. It was more on his defensive side where they had the best players. So, I mean, Bless you. But I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they were 1 and 2. Literally, they're 2 and 3 in the conference last year by team. Josh Allen was 2, Lamar was 3. I mean, those are the better quarterbacks with better stats. They let their team to the playoffs. I mean, you got to go with those two. And you could have gone with Saquon, or I mean, Joe Burrow was 4th. I'm pretty sure. So
you also have to think about the expectations that the Bills had going into last year. You have to remember they were looking like they might have been 3rd best team
out of the playoffs.
division.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't think that they were going to make it as far as they did.
People thought the Jets were going to be above
without Stephon Diggs.
I still don't know where that comes from because they still have Josh Allen. I don't think that I genuinely people thought the Bengals. People thought the Bengals were going to make it over them, and I just didn't see it.
They literally traded their number 1 wide receiver.
Okay. Who Stephon Diggs?
Going into last year, their wide receiver one was Khalil Shakir. That's what the concern was. We knew who Josh Allen was that entire time. It's just that we didn't know who he was going to be throwing to and whether they were going to be worth anything. Because Jordan Love and Josh Allen are not the same player, but when Jordan Love's throwing the ball to Dontavian Wicks and Romeo Doubs and Jane Reed, who are dropping the football all the time, it ruins his stats. That's just how it is.
I mean, I guess, but I don't really. He was still going to be good without Stephon Diggs. I don't think Stephon Diggs is a game changer in my opinion. I just don't think he is.
He's better than miles ahead of Keon going into last season, right? Let's put ourselves back in the shoes of going into last season. Much better than Keon Coleman. We didn't know what Keon Coleman was going to provide. He didn't have the strongest preseason. He had injury issues in college. We didn't know what Keon Coleman was going to provide. We knew that Khalil Shakir was nothing more than a slot receiver. So how was he going to react to being on the outside?
He's good.
He's good going into last season. Better, probably. I think I'd rather have Kincaid than Andrews, but at the same time, you don't just rely on your tight end to carry the offense.
I mean, last year,
going into last season,
not career-wise.
I'm talking about name value alone.
We're not talking about name value. We're talking about
name value means nothing right now. We're just all we care about is how good, how valuable they are to their offense.
This has nothing to do with name value. This is all play last year, beginning of last year. What did you see going into Bills and Ravens?
The moral of the story is the Bills did not have any firepower at the skill positions going into last season.
But they had everything else.
Cook.
James Cook is good.
Yeah, he is good. I'm saying
no, we knew he was good last year. And the O-line Josh Allen had last year was good.
We also didn't think he was going to improve that much upon his season in 2023. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is that Josh Allen had depleted resources and was still able to make things happen and get the Bills to finish far over projections from across the league.
He had an O-line. He had a top 5 O-line. He had
Lamar Jackson has a great O-line.
I know, but I'm talking about the Bills right now. Going into last year, I knew the Bills would be pretty good. Their division's not good. Their O-line's good. Their defense is pretty good all around. They have a good tight end. They didn't have the best wide receivers, but I mean, when you have Josh Allen, I mean, you're going to be fine. I just think that's completely true. I don't think Josh Allen is a scrub. I just don't think he's better than Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
What? No one's what?
No one's saying he's better than Lamar Jackson. But
you literally keep saying Josh Allen is
of an MVP on his team.
Sam, am I tripping?
So no, not really. But I kind of get where Jalen's coming from, because you're talking about the most valuable player, right? You're not talking about the best performer. If the MVP, unfortunately, across all
Jokic should have beaten Embiid.
Exactly. So unfortunately, across all leagues, the most valuable player award has turned into who was the best performer in the league. And that's happening in baseball right now.
That's the case.
Talking about Shohei Ohtani versus Kyle Schwarber.
So Lamar Jackson
Cal Raleigh versus Aaron Judge.
So Lamar Jackson wasn't the most valuable player on his team just because he had Derrick Henry in the backfield.
If you were to have switched places between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson last year, I think Josh Allen would have performed better as a Baltimore Raven than he would have as a Buffalo Bill. The fact that he was still able to take the Bills as far as he did is the reason why he was a much more valuable player than Lamar Jackson was. Last year.
No.
That's
Lamar. You put Lamar Jackson on the Bills
I get
too.
both sides here. Lamar Jackson on the Bills as well.
You put Lamar Jackson on the Bills, he's doing the same thing almost. Maybe not to that high as a level, but he's still doing producing a lot more.
That's the point. Switch
That
the
kind of
places.
validates
Who's
Sam's
going to have
point, though.
more value to the team? Yeah, who's going to have more value to the team? Who's going to add more value? Who's going to help the team improve more when you switch places?
I think it's going to be the same each way.
It more than certainly probably would be because of how talented both guys are, but it's so nitpicky because it's just between those two who was going to add more value, and it just so happened to be Josh Allen. That's what the voters decided, and I would have agreed. I would have agreed, but I get your point too, where Lamar Jackson was the all-around better performer. He was the all-around better performer from a numbers standpoint, but that's not what that MVP award is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be who is the most valuable player to their organization, along with performing well. That still matters. You can't just say like Isaac Collins isn't going to win the MVP for the Brewers this year or for the National League because he's adding 7 outs above average out in left field and has an OPS better than the lead MVP candidate in Chicago right now. He's not going to win MVP, though, because he's not the most valuable player to that team. They'd still be good without Isaac Collins, and other teams would still be roughly the same without Isaac Collins.
Listen. Do you guys remember last year, Bills versus Rams? Josh Allen had this breakout crazy game, and they lost.
He put up like 70 fantasy points, yeah.
And they lost, right? Okay. Now, everyone that game was saying, oh, my God, Josh Allen did that. Oh, my goodness. And then they lost. Now, I remember telling everyone in the chat, there's 4 weeks left in this season. If Lamar Jackson plays better than Josh Allen and wins every game that he plays in the last 4 games, and Josh Allen was losing at this point, okay? If Lamar Jackson outperforms him and proves that he's the MVP in these last 4 games, he's winning MVP. And what did he do? He went out, scored 5 touchdowns on the Giants. Okay, whatever. Then he went to 3 other teams. I forget the last 3 teams. He beat the dog crap out of them, made the playoffs. Josh Allen had the higher seed because he was 1 game ahead of him. And I was right. He was back in the MVP conversation. Everyone counted Lamar Jackson out at that point, and then Lamar Jackson literally came back, beat every team, scored all the points pretty much, besides like Derrick Henry with like 3 other touchdowns. Lamar Jackson was putting on a show every single game, made the playoffs, beat the Steelers, got to the Bills, had a bad first half, came back the second half, and Mark Andrews drops the pass. I mean, it's literally, you can say that it's even. Sure, at that point, say it's even. Whatever, I don't care. But I will still believe that Lamar Jackson deserved the MVP last year. I just don't. After all that, especially, I've never seen a team get praised for losing than the Bills did against the Rams last year. I've never seen it. That was Lamar Jackson. Never been no praise. Oh, my God, he lost in the game. Oh, my goodness, this and that. Didn't make the right throws. Josh Allen, oh, my God. You see how good he played last night? He won MVP off of losing. Come on, man. The media treats him like a prince, like Patrick Mahomes, but less.
We got to move on, I guess. But I guess that guy lost to the MVP in playoffs. But